Hey everyone, it's me, Donna, and I'm here to show you exactly where you're coming if you want to be part of our Vibe Tribe. I'm so excited to see you.
I cannot wait to get together with you at Little Bit Farm. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be amazing. We have so much in store for you to do, to connect to finding your voice, to stand in your power, to become that person that you know you're meant to be.
And it is our pleasure to welcome you to our Little Bit Farm. When we want to talk about people who we want to invite to our farm, it's people that we empower and empower us. Our hearts are open. We want to make this the most exciting, amazing, brilliant event that you will never forget. Tell your friends.
Oh my God, it's so exciting. You know why? Because it's going to be live and it's our first live event that we've done.
We can't wait to spend that day with you. We know it's going to be awesome. We can't wait to see you there.
So we're going to be giving you information tonight on the show of how you too can be part of the Vibe Tribe. You are not going to want to miss this.
Don't forget to tell your friends. We're so excited to meet you. We're so excited for you to be there and become a part of our Vibe Tribe. All you have to do to reserve your spot is email us at vibetribe4444@gmail.com. Include your name, a phone number we can reach you, and we'll take it from there. We cannot wait to meet you. Now for episode 92 with Sandy Ellers. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. Oh, guys, it's episode 93. I don't know what the heck happened there, but that's okay because we are going to get through it together. It is episode 93, and we are talking about getting through the different seasons of life and going with the flow and the changes. Perfect example right there. I am Donna V, and I am the producer of the show, and I'm coming to you live tonight, actually, from Sarasota, Florida. I came down to visit some friends and check out a different season, which is summer, and it is hot, it is humid, and I'm feeling warm. I'm feeling good. I hope you're feeling good. And are you ready? Because I'm going to bring out the host of our show tonight, my dear friend, Miss Tracy Locke.
Donna V!
I'm coming to rolling with those punches.
What? We got to roll with those punches. Yes. I'm coming to you from a different location as well. So yes, we are all in new spots, which is so great because that's what we're talking about, changing of seasons and being able to just roll with the punches. So I'm thrilled to be rolling with the punches, and I'm so excited to see you in your bright tropical orange. I'm wearing my big sweater poncho because it's cold up in here.
I know it's cold up in here. It's warm up in here. I know the energy that we're coming from is like our second chakra, and orange is something that is like going to be discussed. Kim will explain all that stuff. She knows all the details. I just knew to wear orange. I don't know, instinctively. And I changed our background to this beautiful, it's actually, you know what it's called?
Sunshine.
It's called mango, which I'm allergic to, but that's okay.
You're allergic to mangoes?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
That's
James is in the house. Wow, Sarasota. Yes, exciting. Oh my goodness, hello you too. Vibe Tribe 4444. He's paying attention. That's where you email if you want to do what, Tracy?
Okay, well, James, I'm so glad to see your smiling face. And we are always so glad when people interact with our show. And we appreciate you being here every single Monday night from 8 until 9. Now, Vibe Tribe 44444. It's just Vibe Tribe 44. It gets so confusing, ladies and gentlemen. That is for our live event, which we are so excited to talk to you about. Step into your power with the Vibe Tribe. Open-minded mystics and Survivor on Fire present this on Sunday, November 6th from 12:30 to 3:30 at Little Bit Farm on Pickle Road. Is that the cutest name ever? Pickle Road.
Pickle Road.
Califon, New Jersey. Everyone's like, where?
Yeah.
Califon, not California. Everybody's like, is this in California? No, much to my chagrin, it is not in California, but you will not be disappointed with Califon, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen. It is horse country. It is God's country. It is absolutely gorgeous out there. And we are having a seminar workshop out there, and I cannot wait. Boise, Idaho's in the house.
What's up, Chris Quigley, Boise, Idaho?
I love Boise, Idaho. Boise is another beautiful place in the United States. But let me tell you what, you will not be disappointed when you come to Califon and Little Bit Farm. for our interactive workshop, which is from 12:30 to 3:30. What I can't wait about it, it's called Stepping into Your Power, and it is exactly that. We're going to be doing all different kinds of things to help you step into your power and find your voice. And it's going to be all different types of learning. So there's going to be a physical, like getting up and doing things, interactive. There's going to be a spiritual element to it, of course. There's going to be a learning element to it where you have tangible takeaways. And there's also going to be a creative, artistic outlet. So any way that you learn, you're definitely going to be touched upon in this workshop. And I, for one, cannot wait. I'm not looking at the right camera now. I just realized it, but I can't wait.
You're fine. You're fine. I love also that there's going to be every one of your senses will be included. So we have taste because there's going to be delectable, delicious signature cocktails, mocktails. And then there'll be some other delights, right?
Yes.
Scent, because we know that Cheryl Beneduce Bach is the queen of essential oil.
I love how you say Beneduce. You're Italian. Why don't you go Beneduce? Why you say Beneduce?
Cheryl Beneduce Bach. I mean,
exactly. That you got to pronounce it like where you're from.
Well, you know what it is? It's because I feel like that would be more for like Girls Gone Green. I should be like Cheryl Beneduce Bach. But we're on Open Minded. Cheryl Beneduce Bach.
Beneduce. The Italian way. Beneduce.
What's up, Lou? Oh my gosh, all the guys are in his house. Ladies, if you're here, shout us out, say hello, because I love how the guys, this is the thing. Look at all these guys. We got Boise, rhymes with Joyzy, saying hello. We got James saying hello. Lou saying hello. Ladies, I know you're watching. We want some interaction. That's what the show is all about. And as a matter of fact, you know what other lady we're bringing out, right?
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Bring her out, bring her out, bring her out.
Please help me welcome warmly Miss Kim Mazzella.
I just had a mind fart. You just went, Miss. I was like, what just happened to Donna? Is she having a stroke on camera?
Wait, what is this? I don't know what this is. Heidi O, Cousinino. I don't know. Oh, that's, you know what? That's got to be my cousin Lauren.
Hi. We love her.
That's my cousin Lauren. Give a thumbs up if that's you. It's Facebook.
I'm giving a thumbs up because I think it is her.
I think it is. Heidi.
Kim, your hair looks so cute, by the way. I didn't get to tell you. Look at you, Miss.
I've got it. I got them all cut today.
Oh, today's the day. No wonder it looks so perfect.
Yes, I know. I wish you could come to my house every day and do it, but unfortunately, I got to do it on my own most of the time.
Well,
but yes,
you know what, Kim? I want to say something. The people watching out there, if they would like and subscribe and tell a couple of friends, go to YouTube and let them tell a couple of friends. You could get that done every day because we'd have our own show.
Yeah,
we'd have a whole styling team.
Yeah,
makeup and hair and get you ready.
Bring it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm doing down here in Florida. Because they can't find a hairdresser that they like. So I came down.
We have to manifest that whole thing. How about a studio in Florida? I think I could live with that.
Okay, let's go. We're done.
I say we have a studio in every. What's up, Tina? How are you? Oh my gosh, I love it. So Summer, who you invited today?
Hi, Summer.
Hi, Summer. I think that's, I don't know. This is amazing. This is like a pop-up show. I love it.
I am so excited to be here tonight. First place. Hats off to you, Donna, for coming in from Florida. I know you've been up since 2:30 in the morning, but you were an amazing.
I have.
That's how dedicated we are to everybody who's out there watching us. We are so excited to be here and talk about this topic and be together.
Hi, Tina Marie.
Oh, Tina, what's up? I love Tina. Tina, oh, it's so good to see your face. You'll love Tina. Tina's awesome. Tina, you need to come to one of the workshops because you would love it and you'd get along with everyone and everyone would fall in love with Tina. Okay, so
Tina Marie Angstead Walp.
Right.
Anybody that has 4 names and a hyphen, I mean, she's got to be
the Bazan Bomb. She's very important. That's why she's got the 4 names.
If
you met her, you'd know. She's royalty, ladies and gentlemen. She is royalty from where I'm from. I grew up with her and she is so adorable. And she looks exactly the same as she did in high school. So damn cute.
Wow.
Yeah, she looks amazing. Whatever you're doing, Tina, keep it up.
I love it.
She's adorable. I seriously love her. She's like such a good soul and she is totally part of the Vibe Tribe. So what I mean by that is the reason why it's so important when we're talking about our workshop is we're creating a group of people that are like-minded and want to work on themselves and do great things in the world. And she's one of those people. You know, when you meet somebody and you're like, they're good people.
Right.
That's what we're looking for. All those people out there. But if you're watching Open Minded Mystics, you're good people. Anyway, back to you, Kim. What's happening today?
I'm so excited to be here. I was thinking about this too. Like we all need a place where we could take our masks off. Not that most of us by the time you get to be a certain level of practice in your life, you tend to live more maskless than you've ever lived, but it is hard to be maskless through life, meaning, you got to put on that professional mask, or that you got to pretend you're not having an emotion about something all the time, even when every emotion you can't put on your face. But it's nice to be able to be in a space with people where it's not about what you're wearing or what your hair looks like or any of those things. It's about how you feel and your inner truth. And that's what I'm really excited about, to have those groups of people where you could just be you, warts and all. And it's a place where we come together to accept each other, because life has lots of places where you feel judged, right? Like, and as you get older, you feel less and less judged if you do some work on yourself, because judgment is really about an inside thing. But to go to a place where the rules are, this is a safe place, right? This is a place where we're going to rise above to be the best versions of ourselves. Those are the kind of places I'm really excited to create. And that's what I'm most looking forward to about this week together, because we've been online and yeah, sure, online is a great place to create safe spaces. And I think we are. But when I mean safe spaces, I mean the place where you could just go and be yourself and allow other people to be themselves also. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that was perfectly said, Kim. Bravo to you. That was perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
So speaking of that, you're so well spoken and fantastic. Tonight we are talking about navigating the changing seasons of your life. Okay,
yeah.
We are all going through them. There's so much going on in the world as far as changing seasons. Talk about changing seasons. It's like each day. I don't know about you. I wake up and I'm like, whoa, what exciting thing's going to be happening today? Because there's a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. So Kim and Donna, let's talk about our topic for tonight, which I'm so excited about.
I'm really been looking forward to this, because I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was talking about how I remember a time in my life. I have a very big family, and we're all kind of the same age. Like we all are close to in age, comparatively speaking. For 42 cousins, we're all kind of condensed.
Wow,
and and there was a time where it was all weddings, and then all baby showers, and all wedding showers, baby showers. It was just all joyful events. And now we're in the seasons of funerals, right? Mm-hmm. I'm in the seasons of funerals, and I was like, all of them are important. Everything that we go through in life, really, if you live long enough, you're going to experience grief. Right? If you live life long enough, someone you know is going to die, or someone you know is going to hurt you or betray you or do something to you, right? And also, if you live long enough, you might have that opportunity to really fall in love with someone else. Like, these are all what I think of the seasons in life are when we go through the ups and downs of life. And the goal is to get better at it, not worse, right? And there's no guarantee you're going to get better at it, by the way. Just living isn't guarantee enough to get better at it. And one of the things that I've noticed is I was online recently, and I ventured onto Twitter, and I haven't been there in a long time. Now, God bless you if you love Twitter. God bless you, but I was surprised.
Bless your soul is what you're supposed to say. Bless your soul.
Yeah, right. God bless your soul. Right. I was surprised. And now remember, like, I do believe what you see in the universe is what is something in you that's triggered out in the universe, right? I was like, wow, there's still a lot of anger out there. There's so much anger. I forgot about all of this because I haven't really been on Twitter in a while. And TikTok's beautiful because you don't have to look at the comments if you don't want to. You don't have to see these things. And I pulled back a little bit from the news, but there's still so much grief in the world. There's so much, and there's so much love. And the thing is, grief is louder. Anger is louder. And I want to remind people that are watching, there is just as much love, as much kindness, actually, I think there's more than there's ever been, because if you think about it, your light brings light, and it also brings the shadow, right? So when you raise up into light, you attract more light. You also attract you can't not have a shadow. The shadow is part of being a living, breathing experience, right? So that shadow is the darker side of life. But I want to remind people that there is a lot more light in this world than there isn't, right? There's a lot more love in this world. It's just we don't report it in the news, right? So
Absolutely.
We don't report in the news. But if you think about your day, so much worked out for you. If you got up at today and you're breathing, that worked out for you. If you got a
Right.
food today, that worked out for you. You know, if you got, there's so much that's working out all day long. If we actually paid attention to all the stuff that was working out all day long, we'd be like, wow, this is amazing.
Right.
So much is working out. But
That didn't
right.
work out. That didn't work out, but you
True.
work out. Go ahead.
Yeah, that worked out. That worked out. We'd be like Oprah. You get a car.
You get a car.
That worked out. But
I just love bread like Oprah.
you what?
I love
Yeah.
bread.
Well, so one of the things I wanted to mention is that life is going to bring tough things and beautiful things. And when we go through the seasons, there is a line in the Course of Miracles that I love so much. And it always says, I can choose peace instead of this. I can choose peace instead of this. That doesn't mean you get to choose what you're going through, but you can choose the experience that you're having when you're going through it, right?
Yeah.
Now that does not, and I always say grief is kind of weird because grief is like at the bottom, and at the bottom there's like really no bounce, right? So when you're in grief, you kind of need some help, right? That's why if you know anybody grieving, oh, and this is a great plug, by the way, for Tina's grief course, which I'm going to be taking. And if you're interested, please take it. Tina Kopko. I wasn't doing it on purpose, but it just came in nicely.
Yes.
Tina Kopko is having a grief course. She's amazing. I can't wait to do it. It's a grief recovery group. I'm going to be doing it because grief is more than just losing someone who died. It's about right now, I'm experiencing a loss of my children, moving out of the house. I've moved into a new house. These are all exciting things. My kids are going to college. That's so exciting. I've moved into a house with somebody I love. That's so exciting. But it is a trauma, because a trauma is when you move from something that you're used to and move to something new. As great and as exciting as it is, there is an opportunity to feel trauma. So hers, just so you know, you can reach out to her. She's at Authenticity.
Authenticity. I know that's a great name. It's
It
so
is
creative.
a tongue twister, Authenticity.
Tina, yeah. And so it's Tina at Authenticity if you're interested in the grief group to join with me and Tracy. But Donna will be taking it next time. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting about this topic is that even when we're going through the seasons, right? Even if they're great, if it's a season you're looking forward to, like summer, or it's getting married or having a baby, all of those things require you from moving to what is comfortable to moving to something uncomfortable. It's something new, right? Every new season in life, like the first death you ever experience is pretty hard, right? And then oh, I love you, Tina. Yes. And so even great things are traumas because they're change. And so we can get better at change, but I do believe it takes effort like anything else, right? So it takes effort like anything else, because life does not sit still. The universe doesn't sit still. It's growing in this direction. The earth is always spinning. I mean, think about it. Universe is always growing. It's constantly expanding, and we're called upon to expand. So if we're not moving forward, we're calcifying. And what happens when we calcify is we're in pain, because the universe is think about it. The universe is moving. We're moving in a space that's moving, and we're trying to sit still. It's not going to work. Right? But
I think that's really important, Kim, that people hear that, because I feel as though it's very interesting when you just put it in those words of what is considered trauma, because I think people's definition of trauma is very different generationally, of course. But like when you're saying this is trauma, that's trauma, like, really, that's trauma? But people don't realize how much things that you think are minor really do affect you. And I think trauma, for me anyway, trauma gets like a bad rap. Like when I hear trauma, I think like major problem, like a death. To me, that's traumatic. Or someone has a really horrific accident where they're paralyzed. To me, that's trauma. Like something like someone moving away seems like it would suck, but it doesn't seem traumatic. So
Right.
It's very interesting that people might want to re-look at what's in their lives that might be a much more traumatic than you think it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're leaving a job because you want to leave the job and you're moving up and you have a promotion or whatever, that could be a traumatic thing subconsciously. Is that what we're kind of talking about?
Right,
Yeah.
because you're leaving friends that you had, even if they weren't your best friends. You're leaving friends and you're going to something else, right? Yeah, so it's like having to learn new patterns and having to practice new ways of thinking and learning new norms and mores that are in the new place that you're going to. So I think that change is anytime you rip off a band-aid, right? I always think of it like this. My father, when he's had several different heart surgeries, right? Right after the heart surgery, he was in the best shape he had been in months, right? Because now the blood was flowing, right? Now the blood's flowing and he's able to get, blood to his fingers and it wasn't flowing before, right? But he just had surgery, right? So even though his body was the healthiest it had been in a really long time, he didn't feel that way. He didn't feel the healthiest he'd ever been. So sometimes when you leave something that's not where you're going on to something new, it doesn't feel that comfortable. That's why children suffer. And I really honestly think that when children go away to school, right, so many of them struggle because it's such a new environment, right? They're excited, they can't wait, and then they get there and they're like, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be, because not all of them, but 85% struggle, right? That's amazing. That's a huge number, because even moving to something new, something exciting has a tearing apart of something, right? So anytime you tear something apart, even if it's something that you want to be torn, it is uncomfortable. You have to, it's like learning a new way of operating in your own body. And so there's things that we could do to make it easier. But one of them is to recognize this might hurt a little bit. One of the things I love that Marianne Williamson always says is that when you say, I want to live a higher life, when I want to live a more spiritual life, and you could say you want to give your life to source or God or higher consciousness, you say, I'm going to live from a higher plane. The answer is fabulous. And then the next answer is hold on. Right? Because everything that sometimes moving to a higher plane means everything that may not be working for you anymore. Right. Right. And so
may not be going to that higher plane.
Right. Yeah. Just like if you have clothes in your closet, right, and you're changing the seasons and you can't wait for summer, but that means you're going to have to take all your summer clothes and pull them out of your closet and then pull out your it takes some work. It takes some effort. It's not so easy. I mean, I don't know if you have a house that's so big that you can keep all your clothes in one place. God bless you.
How about we have
my seasons are changing personally, and my personal summers mean that I wear my summer clothes all year round. So I never have ever changed my closet. I just change my layering pattern. But like you said, I'm coming to you from Florida, and you're talking about changes, you're talking about trauma. So my two closest friends moved from Nutley because they retired for a better life, right? They wanted to go and grow and move to Florida. And I sometimes walk around, I'm like feeling lost because they were my every Saturday night people. When I was performing, they were at all the shows. They were my Sunday morning breakfast people. And it was just like, whoa. So I've never in my life traveled to go see anyone as much as I have to see them, and it's amazing. But with the pain, I know that you have heard me say this, that there is this reoccurring, almost like a rebirth that goes on. And if you think about the stages of birth, there's that baby stage, inside, but I'm talking about even for us, right? Mm-hmm. The rebirthing of ourselves and the ideas. So we get an idea, we want to change our job, and that's the part where it's conception, and then you're growing, you're changing. But it's always the hardest when you actually have to rebirth yourself, reinvent yourself. And I guess for me that image is something, because I birthed two children and I've been born. I don't remember being born, but I know that it couldn't have been comfortable. Like a baby is born and they're born crying, right? If you're here, you've been born, okay? Whatever your situation is, right? If you think about that, you don't remember it. You're not sitting there saying, that was a really tough day. And if you do remember it, I mean, that's a different conversation for
God bless you.
God bless you.
You know what I mean? That's kind of interesting. What's up, Glenn Sellers? I love it. Glenn's in the house. So, but I use that analogy all the time. And I feel like we all went through that. And I think that we were all in that like hibernation stage when we were in the lockdown, right?
Yeah.
I think I always say it, I'm like, when we were in COVID, we're still experiencing it, but when we were in actual lockdown, and it was different for everybody. Some people went through it faster because they had no choice. They were frontline workers. They had no choice. It was like, you know what? I can't stay home. I have to deal with it. And this is what I have to do. And then there were some of us that like had to stay home for a while till we were allowed out. And there's some people that are still made to work from home. We're all at different paces. We're all at different places, but there's still a change and a season for everyone, no matter what. So I'd love to learn some tools on how to, like, what's your suggestion when you are life coaching someone and they're like, Kim, can you help me out with like how I can get through something? Is there a basic tool that like can go across the board that maybe you could talk about?
Yeah. And well, I want to mention something before I start talking about the tools is, I was talking to somebody the other day, actually a client, and she had said to me, the world has gotten so angry since pandemic. And I thought, that's interesting. That's your perspective. But I think that for different people, the world has become different, right? But for me, I feel that the world has become more open to spiritual principles and practices, right? I'm seeing more people not shy away from the things I talk about, or I feel like the world has become a little leaning more open spiritually, but you know, that's my experience, right? So I do think that there is a thing of, I am seeing this through eyes that have to match what's inside. So I think the place I want to start is, the first thing that I really want to start is remembering and that you are not going through anything alone, right? So if you think that you're going through it alone, it's a very hard place to be. It really is. It's a very hard place to be. So let's just talk on a really like honest level. There's people in your life, period, right? So I have a person who's very close to me who committed suicide. Not close to me, but on a daily basis, but someone I really loved and who committed suicide. And I kept thinking, how have we created an environment where someone would get to that point where, you know, and I know this has been going on for years and years, and since the dawn of man, like to that point that seemed like the answer. And it clear to me that person felt unsupported and alone, right? You feel unsupported and alone. Also, I do think that there's mental illness, and that's a real thing. So please, you know, I do think that we get to a point where we need help beyond just coaching, like an actual, you know, going to maybe chemical imbalances and things like that. Those things exist.
Therapist, yeah.
So, but I do think that it has to start from the point where you recognize that your life has impact on such a greater level of people than just yourself, right? And it doesn't matter if you don't have kids or you have kids. You were born to someone. There is someone who will be impacted by your life, right? Because we are not standing alone. We are like waves on, you know, ripples in the ocean. What you do will affect everybody. And I think that as a child, right, most of us when we were children did not believe that what we did affected other people, right? I remember the first time I was maybe like 13, realizing that, like really getting the lesson of, oh, I have impact on my mother, right? Like I didn't think that like I thought I could say anything I wanted to her and it wouldn't hurt her feelings. Right? No, she's a pretty tough lady, but I remember her being upset by something I said, and I said, ooh, that impacted her. But I think most people who are watching this know my life impacts other people. But to me, it's about recognizing that there is support and help for you that is on this earth that you can ask for, but spiritual support and help too. So if you don't believe that there's spiritual support and help, it's really hard to navigate this world. I believe. So I don't want to believe that, right? I don't want to believe that because I just don't. So, you know, most people watching this are pretty open-minded. I believe that there are guides. I believe that you can call them angels, you can call them guides, you can call them, you know, your aunts and uncles, right? Like, I think that there's something on the other side that's helping you, and to believe that there's some sort of source that helps you too, right? So to know that, even if you think that who's helping you is your inner guide, that's you, right? So to start from a point where you're going to say, I'm going to listen, to not go through this alone, and to know that I not only going through it alone with the things that are in my head, but going through it with the people that I see, right? Because there's angels in spirit and angels on earth, right? That's the first place. And I think that's the foundation to live from, right? Like to connect to what is it I believe in and what is it that can support me to make me feel a little bit better. Is it your religion? Is it just believing in source energy? Or is it some people say my religion is other people, and if that feels like support enough to you, then make that support. But searching for a support system has to be the first place you start, right? Like does that make sense? Right? I'm going to talk about tools, but I think that one tool that we also often forget is this group is a tool, right?
Right. So really quick, wait, hold on a second, Kim. I love you. You're talking really fast.
Okay.
And there are definitely people that don't feel as supported as we do.
Right.
So, and I know that this is a non-secular show, and when you say supported from like groups, I think that we've definitely seen a rise in mental illness and anger. But I just want to add that I think the anger has always been there. I think that it's like when you're driving really fast and you don't realize that there are so many people texting and driving, and then you get on the back of a motorcycle, and because you're looking at it differently, using that as an example, you actually notice the people that are not paying attention to driving. And I think
which is a lot, unfortunately.
That is what I think has happened in the slowdown that's happened over the past few years. I just wanted to like kind of say that. I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but I just want to say that I think the world has been a very angry place. I think that we're just now starting to slow down enough to say, wait a second.
We notice, right?
We notice, and it is our job, us as light workers, us as a tribe, us as a support system, to do something more about it and to shed the light on it.
Right.
So for anyone who's watching that doesn't feel like they have anyone, I just want to be clear that yes, we feel supported, but yet we understand that there are people out there that definitely do not.
Right. And that's what I was saying. Your first job is to create a support system, right? Like to find your peeps on earth or beyond, right? Like to find, because I think that's a very important thing to managing life, right? Even if it's one person, even if it's just one person that you feel safe with, and if you don't have that person, that's your task, right? To find that person, because I'm telling you, everybody watching this has gifts that they can give to another person, and people are dying to get your gifts, right?
I think that's hugely important, Kim. I don't want to run over that quickly. I think it is so important that they say when you are feeling lonely, the best thing you can do is give to someone else.
Right.
Because I feel so many times that when you get lonely, you isolate, and then you start ruminating about all the things that you don't have. If you give to someone else, not only are you getting yourself out of your own head, but you're creating that love and getting that back. So I think brilliant. That's brilliant, Kim. And I think people need to hear that is because sometimes, to Donna's point, it could be overwhelming when they're like, find your tribe. Well, if I knew how to find my tribe, I would be with them, right?
Right.
So how do you really physically nuts and bolts do it?
Well, it's funny because there was a time in my life where I felt and I've talked about this time in my life. I was very, very lonely. I was 25 or 26 and I was living alone, and I felt like I had no one, right? I really did. This was like the beginning of the end of my worst time of my life, right? So and I felt very alone, although I did think I had an open third eye, which was apparent to what happened, but I felt so alone. And I remember thinking, if I wasn't here, and I wasn't suicidal, I was never, but if I wasn't here, nobody would notice. Like I remember that feeling, like nobody would notice if I didn't call anybody, nobody would know for like a month. And I have 42 cousins. That tells you a lot.
I was going to say that's alone in my book.
Right. I felt pretty much alone. And in that moment, I remember thinking, I need help. So I think it's about saying, I need support, like put out to the universe, I need support. And so it was really funny because I got this message in my head, right? Go to Manayunk tomorrow, right? I got this message in my head, go to Manayunk tomorrow. And I talked about
Manayunk, it's a town in Philadelphia.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. Like, so it's a longer story than that, a little more freaky than that. I don't really feel like sharing it right now. It would take forever. But I basically was told to go to Manayunk the next day. So I woke up like actually with hope, like I'm supposed to go to Manayunk. I'm going to meet the man in my dreams or something. I don't know. That's what I thought was going to happen. Right. So I'm like, I don't know. I was so inspired to go to Manayunk. And so I went to Manayunk the next day, and I got there at like 6:30 in the morning. I looked at every doorstep. I was like all in and out. And it was the first time I ever went to a psychic. It wasn't even very helpful. Like I was like, what am I supposed to see?
What
And
am I looking for? Is this a treasure hunt? Is this one
right,
of those
like
scavenger hunts?
I looked everywhere in Manayunk and I couldn't find anything. And then on the way home, I was like, well, that's it. I'm done. That's it. Stick a fork in me. Like maybe I just don't. So I was like, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna leave this place. I thought, I was thinking, let me move, and then that will make me feel better. So I grabbed the local newspaper, and there was this teeny, and I have it. I just actually found it. There was this teeny tiny, like this big, ad that said A Course in Miracles study group. Call David, and it was the
No
number.
way.
Yeah, and I picked it up on the way in, and then I called David, and I talked to him on the phone for 3 hours. He wasn't a therapist; he just was someone who taught A Course in Miracles. And I told him I hated my life, I hated myself, and I wasn't ever going to be happy again. And he said, "Let me help you prove you wrong."
Wow.
Yeah, and he spoke to me for 3 hours. He must have known. So you never know.
Yes,
So
crazy.
yeah, it was crazy. And I actually worked with David for 2 years after that. So for 2 years, I joined his groups. I joined all his groups. And I took a relationship course with him. And then right after I was done with that relationship course, literally the day it was finished, I met my husband. So,
wow.
Yeah. So that's my story. But so here's the thing, put out to the universe, I need help. And that's what I did. I said, I need help. And it took me like the longest way around to get to my front step to get to the newspaper, but that's how I got it. Right. So putting out to the universe, I need help. Like the universe always says yes. And so if you're hearing this and you don't believe that, give it a shot. Don't listen to me. Prove it to yourself, right? Like that was what I would always do. Don't believe what anybody ever says. I was watching this thing on Scientology and I'm like, wow, we just want so much people to help us that we'd be willing to give away all our money.
I know.
Just to get help, right? Like,
but did you have like a specific mantra? Because one of the ones that it's Abraham Hicks. I think it's Abraham Hicks that I've been doing lately, which I think I heard Abraham Hicks. I keep saying that, but show me how good it can get. Right?
Oh, I love that one. Yes.
I love that one.
So mine is always, everything always works out for me, but I think I'm going to write down, show me how good it can get. I love that. I'm going to,
I love that too.
But here's the thing is that, like, let's just say you're in a good mood and you just want to manage it and stay happy. That's a really good thing. Like, I think when you're feeling really sad, it's hard to go from show me how good it can get. But beyond a support group, there's so much that you can do to manage a season. So, okay, support group, having some sort of support in your life, creating support. It's not going to come to you. Here's the thing. Support doesn't come to you. You got to ask for it and then go find it. Right. Ask for it. Like I got the inspiration, go to Manayunk, right? It came to me. I did it, right? So ask for it and then follow your intuition. So creating support is really important. Join a support group, join something to manage the seasons, go to therapy, find your support, find something that supports, and also find people who you can support, because that's very, very helpful, right? Because the Course in Miracles says we only can keep what we give away, right? So if we can only keep what we give away, then honestly, what are we giving, right? What are we giving? And so the next thing I want to mention in the change of seasons is, are you looking at what's not working out, or are you looking at what you want to create? Are you sad about what's not working out?
Say that again and slow it down. That is hugely important.
She's very excited about this topic, as you can tell.
It's awesome. No, but
well, you know why? Because I feel like I've worked through this topic in the last week.
You're giving such great information. I just want to make sure people can retain that quickly. So say that again, because I think just the way you put that, Kim, was huge, and I'm writing it down.
Okay, so I can't remember exactly what I said, but I said, are you looking at what wasn't working out, or are you looking at where you want to go? Are you looking at the past? So, or are you looking at what you want to create? What are you focusing your attention on? When you're taking your clothes out of the closet, are you like, or are you like, yay, I get to put on winter sweaters. I'm so excited about putting on sweaters, right?
Sweater weather.
Or are you like Donna, looking in your closet going, instead of looking at this section now, I'm going to look at this section of my closet.
I just think, what can I layer? That's all I do.
What can I layer?
I layer everything.
Right. So one of the things that A Course in Miracles says is that the only purpose of the past is a teaching tool. What we tend to do is and Carolyn Mace talks about this too. What we tend to do is we look at the past and we bring it into our future by lamenting over it, rehashing it, relitigating it every 30 seconds, figuring, like, thinking about what you could have done better, thinking about what you could have said to them, regretting those, like regret. And the thing is that if it got you here, it was a gift. Keep going and decide what you're going to learn from it. Right. And I have to say, it's been such a blessing to do A Course in Miracles, because that's really taught me that. And it's something that I have a lot of tools to do. What is it I want to learn from this? There is an actual line in the Course in Miracles that says, you decide what the purpose is. I remember, like, when I used to do energy readings and people would say, what's my purpose? And I'd be like, well, what do you want it to be? Well, you're like living your life. What interests you? What sparks your interest? What makes you get up in the morning? What are you excited about? I keep snapping. I get snapping.
No, but I think that's important, because I do think that we all know inherently that our answers are inside. But I think people definitely, Kim, it's almost like a treasure map of like, okay, yeah, there's treasure here, but where do I start? How do I, I love these questions that you're asking. And I think it's really important, because we assume that people know where to start. But I'm telling you, there are tons of people that are like, I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
Can I say something really quick about to go with what you just said? Because I think more people need to share how they got where they are. So quick. I have a client that comes in to get her hair done. She said to me, my son constantly is just wanting the big romance, and he keeps like trying to get the big romance, and he tries to go out with the girl, and he wants it to, work so much, and then it falls flat. And I said, that's a compliment to you, right? And she's like, what? I'm like, all he's ever seen growing up is an amazing relationship that you and your husband have. So when you are a person that doesn't know the steps on how to get that, that's all you want. I said, have you ever sat down and told him about all the frogs you kissed and all the frogs your husband? No, I mean it. Like, maybe
that's awesome. Yeah.
No, I said to her, because I think what it is like, people will come to me about the business and they'll say, you're so lucky, like you have this business, but they don't know all the years of like blood, sweat, and tears. They just see where I am now. So like going back to that relationship, I said, if you switch your perspective and you look at it like, wow, what a great compliment. My son has only seen my husband and I have a beautiful, successful marriage. All he wants is that, but he doesn't know how to get to that.
Right.
What I think happens in life is that we either are afraid to ask the questions. We just see someone, we aspire to be them. You see, like a Wayne Dyer, and you want to be Wayne Dyer, but you don't know what Wayne Dyer was for all the years before he was Wayne Dyer.
Right.
And I think that that's the importance about having all these conversations and finding out how someone got to where they are. And maybe why the tribe is really important is because we can share all that information.
Right. That's awesome. And it's funny because I actually just had a conversation with my son today, and he was stressed out because he has a teacher who sucked and he's not learning from her. And he goes, you don't understand. I'm like, really? Because I went to school and I can name you my bio teacher. Like, I started naming all the teachers, but you have things like Khan Academy where you can go and learn another way. I didn't have any of that. I had to go learn from the book. So what are the questions? So going back to what the Facebook user asked. So the questions that you want to ask yourself is, what do I want? For the first thing is you want to say, send me support. Tell me where to go. What do I do? Right. So when I wake up in the morning, I do a bunch of things, right? And I've always talked about the things that I do in the morning. And so I wake up and it's a good 10 minutes between the time I open my eyes, and feel awake and alert and get out of bed. And so I'm doing something called the 3 good feeling thoughts, which I talked about before. And then I start visualizing my day and getting excited about what I want. And I sometimes start the book of positive aspects, which I talked about before. But, one of the questions that one of the things I always say is, thank you, universe. Please help. You tell me what you want me to do, how I could be of service today. Lead my feet in service today. Now, that doesn't mean because I do believe that the universe is meant for us to be happy. We're meant to be happy, right? And I also believe we're co-creators with a source that's bigger than us, right? You could think whatever, that you're co-creator with, God, you can call it God or you can call it source. But I do believe that I have a purpose. Even if I want to just say I have a purpose. And I think that my purpose is always to serve joy. That doesn't necessarily mean to eat everything I want to eat or drink everything or smoke everything I want to smoke. Like, I think it's to be led to instinctively say, help me be of service to the universe, right? And being of service to the universe means putting on my mask, taking care of myself, exercising my body, eating well, those kind of things. Because if you think about it, your body is this vessel that shows up to the universe. How can I be of service if I'm not well, right? So
Right.
these are the things that I think to myself. How can I be of service today? So whomever is in front of me, I ask that, I ask whoever you place in my way, let me be of service today. Sometimes it's just keeping my dog from killing that person, but keeping my dog from killing the other dog, because that's sometimes the service I'm giving, but it's showing up fully to life. So the question that you want to ask yourself, and here's a great idea. So ask a question and then just see what comes to your mind and write it down with your non-dominant hand, right?
Oh, I like that. Wait a minute. Say that again. So you ask that question and then
you can say to the universe, right? This is called automatic writing, right? So you ask a question and then you just quietly see what comes to your mind, right? Or you don't. You just put your pen down. This is how Neil David Walsh, whatever, the guy who wrote Conversations with God, did it. He would ask the question and he put his pen down, and then whatever came out of his hand was the answer, right? But ask yourself a question and try to write it with for me, it would be my left hand or your non-dominant hand, and see what comes out, right? Try to write the answer from your non-dominant hand. Now
wait a minute. I have asked a question about that. That's amazing. Why the non-dominant hand? I know there's a reasoning behind it.
Because it's harder to control. It's harder to so you're just going to kind of let it do what it needs to do as fast as it can get it out. Because have you ever tried to write with your other hand?
Yes, I have. Because I think it's fascinating. Is it that you're just
trying to let go of the answer a little bit and see what comes to you. You could try it with your right hand. You could ask yourself a question and just write it down.
But I'm sure there's a reason why you do the non-dominant hand. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's got to be
probably because it's a different connection to your brain.
Yes, that's what I mean.
More of it, like she said, automatic writing. So with your dominant hand, you're used to doing it. It's wired a certain way.
Yes,
and it's just more of just like letting go. So when you're in, meditation and a thought floats to your head, it's different than having like a completely conscious thought, I think.
Yeah.
Right. But also I wanted to mention a few things so sometimes we get into habits and ruts, and the universe doesn't let us stay there because it changes the seasons all the time. Have you noticed that? So you can manage it by changing things around. If you wear your watch on your right side, put it on your left side, right? Practice change, because change is always going to happen. The universe is going to make it happen. And if it doesn't, by the way, your life gets really kind of calcified and boring. So we kind of want change, even though we don't always want change. So practice things. Use your other side of your mouse, right? So if your mouse is always on this side, try left clicking, which is really hard to do. I've tried to do it because my wrist sometimes hurts, and sometimes I try to do it. I'm like, wow, this is really not easy.
Yes.
But practicing opening up your entire the brain so that you can use both sides. It's really funny because when my daughter was moving into college, I picked up a book and I'm like, what is this? She's like, oh, it's just my handwriting practice. And I opened it up and it was pages and pages of the alphabet. And she would practice writing the alphabet every day with her left hand. I guess she listened to a lot of things I did. I don't know.
Wow,
when she was growing up. Yeah.
So what was the thought behind that? Just to do different neural pathways in your brain?
Yeah. Really.
Wow, cool.
Just think about it, is that we get into patterns, and the more that you could stretch yourself and see things, because the final thing I always do is help me see this through a new perspective. Let me see this through the eyes of spirit. Let me see this through the eyes of wisdom. Let me see this through
let me see this through the eyes of spirit. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay.
Right. So whatever I'm going through, let me see it through the eyes of love, the eyes of spirit. I say that too in the morning. I say, I only want to see through the eyes of love, because to me, love is the energy that I'm working with. Right. So and one of the things I love is Abraham Hicks always says that there's only one energy of the world. Right. And it's source. Right. So I call source love because that works for me. So they say there's not like the evil energy and the good energy, and they're not fighting each other. There's the good energy, and then there's where you're standing in relationship to the good energy. So if it's over here and you're over here, you're not feeling really good.
It's like, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Right.
It's like in relation
So like,
to that.
I guess like Jeffrey Dahmer's over here.
Ooh, creepy.
And the rest of us are somewhere in here. Nothing. That
Thank God.
I can't believe I used that reference.
That's
real dark, real quickly.
That's right. If she's just being relevant with everything going on in television, we should just hip cool now with it. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen.
I just have to give you a 10-minute warning, ladies. I know that you're not going to believe that, but we have 10 minutes left. Don't forget, if you have questions, please give us a question. We'd love to answer a question. The comments we will definitely check out after the show because there's so many comments and they're lovely and long comments, and hopefully we can all get back to you guys. But yeah, so we have 10 minutes left. I'm excited.
Okay. Well, okay. So
tool time.
Yeah. So one of the things I like to think about is it's such a gift that things are always changing, and they're hard because when we want to hold on to things. And I remember, and I always talk about this, when my son was born, my mom said, you realize your one job is to make your child not need you to move. And I was like, so you have to tell me that today? That was like my response. Like,
wow.
It just came out of me about 4 minutes ago.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
But really, life is not going to let you keep that little baby and hold on to it forever. That baby grows up and that baby gets fresh and nothing, sometimes sweet, and moves on. And life is always going to ask you to learn a new recipe. It's always going to get rid of the microwave that you loved so much, right? Like It's going to go on the fritz, and then you're going to have to learn how to use a new one. And so if you can recognize and take a step back and recognize that the life is always going to force me to grow. And if your attitude, so just shift your mindset a little too. Every time you have to go through something, this thing's going to make me stronger. Because that's what I was saying to my son when he was not. This thing's going to make me stronger. I'm getting grit, right? Brene Brown talks about grit all the time. Like I love her talks on grit. Is that when things change and you go through those traumas, when you get to the other side, you are stronger than you were before. And if you can remember that, okay, so this is uncomfortable, or this feels a little difficult or challenging, right? I really hate all big bookkeeping of all sorts. I really do. And it's funny because I do a lot of bookkeeping. Believe it or not.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, didn't you do a lot of that?
Yeah. I mean, for myself and other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Good question, Tina. How do you protect your focus on love?
I love
around negative people?
Well, here's the thing that think about this. When you are surrounded by negative people, the universe thinks you have it going on. I'm going to tell you why. Especially if you want a life filled with love, right? If you want a life filled with love, the universe will always send you teachers. You don't get out of the curriculum, right? You could choose not to do it, but choosing not to do it makes you miserable, right? So the universe is always sending you better teachers. So sometimes those teachers are like narcissists that seem really loving at first, right? And you're like, oh, so when our job, when we're surrounded by loving, people who are negative and it's hard because especially if life is going really quickly, it's really hard. We have to find those places where we bring ourselves back to center. First place, you pray for the people that you think are negative, right? And so prayer is a weird word. It doesn't have to be prayer in the conventional sense of, it is the idea of whatever you give away is what comes flying back out to you, right? So when you think of those people, your job is to send them light in a minute when you have a down time. When you have a moment to take care of yourself, you send them light. Oh, Tracy.
Who's moving in your room?
What happened?
You don't know that behind you there's somebody under this cover?
Oh.
We both are just sitting there like this, like I'm waiting for. I thought somebody with the screen mask was gonna come out.
I was waiting for
Kyla. She's so sweet. She's so cute. Could you see her?
No, there was movement.
Oh.
It was definitely something we were like.
Is Tracy gonna be okay?
I thought you were gonna tell me there was a spirit, just like an orb just went by me. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
What the heck was I talking about? That's so funny that I forgot it.
No, being around negative people, how do you keep
yeah. Okay.
Because I was riveted. I was like, wait a minute, what? I thought because I'm in a trance, like what?
So when we are surrounded by negative people, that it could mean two things. Remember, the universe, our light attracts light, and it also attracts darkness, right? So it's unfortunate that we're always going to bring our shadow with us. We can't not deal with. You're not going to live on this planet without a shadow. I mean, I think there is one spot maybe, but most of us are not standing there.
Right.
So the thing is that when you are surrounded by negative people, and I just went through this, and I got to say, it's not easy. I just went through it, and it lasted about 5 months. So I get it. Like it is, it's like it's like a PhD in love, right? So it's like one of the things that Marianne Williamson always says is blast every room with love before you enter it, right? Like think about going into every room and spreading light. The more light you spread, the farther that love goes away. And when you are looking at another person, imagine a beam of light coming down into them. Imagine a beam of light coming down into you. And then finally, yeah, the thing that you say to yourself is, I don't like this, but I know it's a lesson in love for me.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't like this. You own it. You don't like it. It's not fun. You can even say, I don't like you, but I know you're a lesson in love for me. I don't like this situation, but I know that when I learn to forgive you, and forgiving means to release myself from your negativity. That's actually what it means in this scenario, to release. When I learn to look at you through the eyes of love and recognize that you are a lesson in love for me, and I don't have to like you, but I do have to love you in the sense of recognizing that you have come to me to teach me a lesson in love. So, and then you bless that person. Thank you for teaching me this lesson in love. And that doesn't mean you have to hang out with them forever. Like extricate yourself eventually. Like, you don't have to remain married to an abusive person. You don't have to stay around people who are really negative. And if you work with them, then you ask for divine guidance. Like, I need some divine movement here.
You're like, I need some divine guidance. I need
exactly.
I got that for sure.
This show went really fast. It's like
it went so fast.
It went really fast. But you know what I remember from home?
Oh, look at you!
My goodness.
I gotta say, Donna, you're amazing.
Lady, this is my priority.
You're
my
awesome.
tribe, right? This is what we do. This is it. If you don't show the people that you love their level of importance in your life, then what are we here for? Right?
Exactly.
A level of commitment to this is really important. You show up, I show up, we all show up. And I appreciate it. And I wanted to make sure everybody knows that I appreciate them. Because to me, I wrote this one. Wait, let me see if I can get up. Practicing gratitude is another part that is really important. Mm-hmm. Right? So I'm totally into that. Practicing gratitude for wherever you are, even behind the cranky lady today that scared me at the airport. All right, so
wow.
I made it. I was like, it's all good. I send you love and light and flight and a different flight than my things. So are you ready?
Your Sally O'Malley voice. I made it.
Like Sally O'Malley. I can't. I have to wait. I have to think of it now. See, because you got me there. You know what I think of when you tell me to do that is when I used to do, what was that other actress's name? I would accidentally fall into an accent, and I can't think of her name. Oh, I know. She talks like this. She's like, oh, yeah.
The hell's Liza Minnelli.
No, but that's okay.
Holly Hunter.
Yeah. Oh, Holly Hunter.
Yeah. Holly
Hunter. I think you should do that. I think you should do the angel message as either Sally O'Malley or Holly Hunter.
I'm an angel card reader. Are you ready?
Give it a little extra zip tonight.
All right. For all you out there watching, if you've been watching all along, you know what's going on. If your energy is connected to any one of us, then the cards that I'm about to pull for each one of us are definitely a message for you as well. I'm going to go with the first one up. It's going to be for Kim Mazzella for all the amazing lessons she taught us tonight.
Thank you, Kim.
You tell me to stop. You tell me to stop. I'm stopping.
You knew I was going to stop you then.
All right, let's see what we have for you tonight is clarity.
Clarity.
Close your eyes for a moment, Kim. Breathe in the no, I can't do it. I'm mocking the angels. I can't mock the angels. I'm sorry. Breathe in the blue of the sky. Feel a gentle breeze flow through you. There is peace. There is clarity. A magical healing has just taken place. A gift from your guardian angel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then wisdom.
I'll take it.
Everything has a place and a purpose. To be wise is to have great love, tolerance, and compassion for all things, especially in the changing of the seasons of your life.
Uh-huh.
Tracy Locke, and anyone that identifies with Tracy Locke's energy.
And stop.
Okay. We've got sacred knowledge. Close your eyes and focus on your breath, Tracy. Feel the peace within. Beyond your thoughts lies the eternal truth, the I am presence of eternal love.
Oh, love it.
Knowledge.
And the bottom, fear.
Ooh.
Fear. I, Archangel Michael, am here to help you through the present time. I love you, I protect you, and keep you safe. Trust that all is well. Accept my love and allow it to dissolve your fear.
Love it.
Excellent.
No, I love Archangel Michael.
Yes.
He's my
Always
dude.
positive.
Oh, my dude. Okay. This one is for, let's see, for me and for anyone that is sharing my energy. I'm going to ask you to take it with you when we're done, though, because I want to sleep tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty tired. I'm not going to lie. Okay. Middle path. Embrace both sides. The middle path is the road to a balanced and more peaceful life. I'm going to sleep in the middle of the bed.
Amen.
Inspiration. A new idea comes to you like a gentle whisper inside your heart. Listen and take action. This is inspiration from high above. Ooh, ladies.
Wow, what a night.
There's a card that got stuck in the box. Let's see what it is for everybody. You ready?
Oh, yes.
Sacred source. We, your angels, are here to remind you of your magnificence. You are literally an angel in the making, a being of eternal love and light, forever one with God, goddess, and all creation. Perfect ending for that show because we are all the gods and goddesses that we're looking for. Remember that looking inside is like a really good place to look besides looking outside for help. I think it's like you know a lot of the answers. Just look within yourself.
You do know a lot of the answers. And if you need help finding those answers, Donna, we've got that flyer of what's happening.
We've got that flyer.
We just want to remind you one more time before we leave. Open-Minded Mystics and Survivor on Fire presents Step Into Your Power. You get to go there with the Vibe Tribe. That's Sunday, November 6th, 12:30 to 3:30, Little Bit Farm in Califon, New Jersey. Tickets include interactive workshops, signature mocktails, which I'm so excited, decadent delights, so much more. Come be a member of the Vibe Tribe and find like-minded people. I promise you, you will walk away from the day feeling so energized. And the easy way to, reserve your spot, vibetribe444@gmail.com. Ladies, awesome job
so much. That was amazing. Thank you so much for everyone that commented, loved, and liked. Please don't forget to share. We are trying to build up our tribe, and we'd love to build it up with you included. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.